We stand up FightHype.com. We're Max Kellerman. Max, let me get into something different. Floyd Mayweather hinted that he's coming back. He said he's been offered 9 figures. Mentioned Danny Garcia. How does Max Kellerman react to that?
The reason fighters never really retire is because, or they will retire when people stop handing them huge checks. If someone said, I'm going to give you, anyone out there listening, I'm going to give you $1 million to fight Vladimir Klitschko or Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua, top heavyweight. Would you do it? Yeah, everyone would do it. You get knocked out in a round, you collect your $1 million. And you'll try, but you're just not going to win. But $1 million one night, let's do it. Now imagine, even as you get old, even Floyd's still the best, but one day he won't be. But they're not asking you to fight a guy twice your size. They're not saying someone who's not a fighter be a fighter. They're talking to an experienced fighter. They're saying, fight someone your same size, and instead of $1 million, it's $100 million. Even one day when Floyd won't be the best anymore, he'll still be like one of the 10 or 20 best fighters in his weight division in the world, which is another way of saying washed up. Like when a guy is the 20th best in his division who used to be the best, people call him washed up. In the world, you're the 20th best at what you do in your weight division, and you're washed up. And fight another guy your same size when you're world class for millions and millions and millions of dollars, when you know you would fight a guy twice your size and you're not even a fighter for a tiny fraction of that money. That's why fighters never retire. And speaking of that, 50-0 is not a thing. Lots of guys have been, Julio Cesar Chavez was 87-0. It doesn't count until basically you're so old there's no way you can fight again or you die. Like that's when the record is actually solidified. Rocky Marciano even contemplated a comeback. Yeah. It's not that you get to 49-0 or 50-0, it's that you retire and never fight again. It's a weird kind of, philosophically, it's a weird kind of record.
Do you like the Danny Garcia fight though, if you were to fight Danny?
If it were Floyd has reached a level where if it was anyone but Floyd who fought Danny Garcia, they'd say, hey, that's a pretty good opponent. But does anyone think Danny Garcia is going to beat Floyd Mayweather? In a way, he really doesn't have anyone to fight in the sense that Triple G, he's even said, no, he's big, he's a middleweight, and he's right. He's too big. Triple G is too big for Floyd. It's unreasonable to think that they should fight. But that's the fight people would be interested in because Triple G, people figured would beat him, and that's the point. Like, what's the biggest obstacle you can find to make a good fight? Errol Spence is dynamic. And you think, well, Floyd would never fight Errol Spence, but let's say he did, and he beat Errol Spence. What would everyone say? Errol Spence is green. Yeah. He's a little too, and they'd be right in a sense. He is a little bit young. So at maybe 2 or 3 years he'll be ready, but right now, I'm not saying Floyd beats Errol Spence right now. I'm saying that if he did, people would say the same thing he said about Canelo, right? Yep. Oh, he got him at the right time. So who's there really for Floyd to fight? Terrence Crawford? That's Arum. Could they make the fight? Yeah. But Terrence Crawford is a credible opponent. I think that's like one of the more credible opponents where people would say, wow, he went after like the best available guy. It's tough, man. Floyd established a very, very, very high standard where, to the point where unless he has some handicap, people are not going to view it as a competitive fight against almost anybody.
Does the sport need Floyd to come back at this point, Max? Will it help the sport, or is the sport fine without boxing? Because a lot of people are anticipating his return.
Yeah, I think if it does big business, it usually helps the sport. I am glad that Floyd created a cult of personality in a way that has people, and also of this undefeated record, in a way that has people admiring boxing technique, which is something that I was always trying to sell people on. And there was this narrative in boxing that no one wants to see a boxer, they only want to see knockouts. And I was always thinking, no, wait a minute, I like watching Pernell Whitaker, I like watching Floyd Mayweather, I like watching the good version of Guillermo Rigondeaux, I like that stuff. Not everyone does, but Floyd developed his personality and his show in a way that and the undefeated record and everything, that has people admiring boxing technique, and I like that a lot.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Max. Thank you so much.